I'm guessing most of you are here because you watch me regularly, but just in case you don't, little introduction about me. I'm Zeni, and I've been running Super Metroid for a long freaking time. I did it casually for a long time, starting in like 2004, 2005. And then I started streaming it in 2017. I used to exclusively run 100%, and that's what I did for like 6 months, 5, 6 months, something like that in 2017. I got a 122.59 at the end of that grind, and then I did RBO for a little over a year, and got the world record in that. Ran it at GDQ, did some many percent for a while, did some other stuff for a while, and then I came back to 100%. And my goal, coming back to 100%, the first long-term goal that I had was to beat Zoast's time. And I figured that would probably happen sometime in the back half of this year. But it's only March 1st, and we got it yesterday, so I don't know. I don't know what that means for the future exactly, but yeah. So we will get this started. This is a side-by-side comparison. I pre-rendered this video because that'll make it easier to control stuff, but I did match it up frame by frame for the start. Over here, you have my chat and my heart rate showing up. This is my splits, which also have Zoast's splits here on the right side. And then over here, this was actually Zoast's chat, and he had a hand cam behind the chat that you'll probably see a little bit of. So to address chat. Who the heck is this Zeni guy? Nice to meet you for the first time. My name is Zeni, and I'm a Metroidaholic. That's true. You mean by doing other stuff? You mean world record other stuff? I mean, I got RBO world records, I got meme world records, I got any percent glitched world record, I got, I don't know. Anyway, let's get started. You guys can tell me what we need to do as far as audio balancing and stuff goes. I'm guessing we will want this quieter, otherwise we're going to have some conflicts with voice. The audio is my audio. We don't have Zos audio in here, so. Is all of my commentary in singing fashion? No. No, it is not. That it's funny you say that though, because, and I know why you said it, but anybody who doesn't know, I tend to like sing randomly, and people like that for some reason, so that's cool. So one thing that was interesting about Ceres, I did the Ceres Moonfall. Zoast did not, because he didn't have Moonfall in his run. But I bonked the door, and I've told people before that if you do the Moonfall but then bonk the door, it's pretty much as if you didn't do it at all. And yeah, it was pretty synced if you noticed. So so like I mentioned, this run was just done yesterday, so that Zos run was done like 3 years ago. So there are a lot of strats that have come out in that 3-year span that are much faster than what Zoast is doing in his run.
Hey, Bort. Hey, Derp.
For example, I have Moonfall. I have you know, these other techs that I can do that save a lot of time. So what I'm trying to say is, personally, I think that Zost's run is more impressive than my run. However, even though this isn't like a run that I'm, you know, like ecstatically proud of necessarily, like there's a lot of things that were rough around the edges about it, and I'll point those out as we come to them. It is definitely still something that I am proud of, and watching it back in comparison with Zost's, I haven't watched the whole thing, but I did watch some segments, and it made me appreciate it just a little bit more. Like I feel like I did a pretty dang good job with this. So all right. So, you know, early game, pretty basic stuff. I do some frame saving strats that Zoast doesn't really do. They're not really worth pointing out. The bulk of the reason that I'm ahead here is because of the Moonfall. But for example, I did a wall jump check to grab this Morph Ball just a little bit earlier than he did. Yeah, those are the big Moonfall saves. Red Tower has some good ones, though in Hundo it's just the one, I think. There's a couple in Meridia in this route that I do or that I go for and miss. But yeah, Moonfall really does it saves quite a bit of time. It's not earth shattering or anything, but it's definitely a time saver. Alright, so for example, I mess up this strat, but I think it's still faster than what Zoast does, or it's probably about the same. Moonfall, essentially what it is you do a jump out of a moonwalk, and it uncaps Samus's fall speed. So normally when Samus is falling, she eventually just falls at the same speed forever. But when you do a moonfall, she continually falls faster and faster. The tech was discovered in mid 2017. It was right before I started streaming my runs. Yeah. Removes terminal velocity, yes. Alright, so I did get a little bit screwed on BT drops here, which kind of puts Zoast and I back in sync. Cutie. Yeah, Zost's early game was very, very good. He definitely made some mistakes, but his early game was very, very good, for sure. Here's one mistake that he makes, right here. I don't even know if that was considered a mistake back then, but it is definitely slower to bonk that waiver. You weren't a mistake, Giggles. He could have done the door bonk strat, Giggles. Come on, man. Gotta farm that missile. Anyway, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so one thing that we do differently here, and it's honestly, it's mostly just up to preference, but in the next room where you grab the reserve tank and the 2 missile packs, I grab the reserve first, and then I go for the missile packs. Zos does a mock ball under the tunnel, grabs the missiles, and then comes back for the reserve. Every time I've checked this, I was able to save just a couple of frames by grabbing the reserve first. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why that is, other than I think it's something to do with the way that you can open the door and the way that you can wall jump check the reserve. It doesn't really make sense to me logically, and I'm guessing for TAS it's probably faster to do the mock, but I don't know. That's something that people have asked me about a lot, though.
That was very close to
The optimal way to do this is to actually do a quick drop through the middle and then jump back up. But if you end up doing 2 jumps, it's actually slower to do that than to just fall through on the left side of the crumble blocks. I missed the optimal jump, which is why I fell early, so that also a little bit of time there. Any advice for mock ball? Essentially, you just need to hold jump and do a soft morph and press forward on the ground. If you want more strat advice, I would recommend checking out my tutorials on YouTube. I have a general movement tutorial that will go over it. So I do a weave here in Big Pink without unmorphing. It saves a little bit of time. Zoast still insists on not doing it, and so does Cutie. But, you know, maybe someday. Maybe someday they'll convert. Unfortunately, I missed the up and 2 right here.
Heck and get it up into. Yeah, I know. I was there.
The early game in this PB was actually pretty weak.
I even gave him biddies.
That's singing. How was the audio balance, guys?
He actually was on world record pace, but lost a lot of time in Turian. Got screwed on health drops.
It's good? Okay. Yeah, I know I'm louder. I just I wanted to make sure that I was louder enough that if I'm talking at the same time that I'm talking in the VOD, it's not confusing. So did a little hop there because I wasn't sure if I was going to make it onto the platform or not. I had kind of a bad entry into that room.
Can't be there for everything, you know. It's okay.
The only thing I like better than Super Metroid is 2 Super Metroids. Alright, so coming up we have Kraid. I don't think there's any strat variation here. I don't have Wave Beam or Power Bomb, so I can't do any lag reduction, other than if I wanted to bounce in the spikes, which, honestly, the reason that I don't do that is because I don't always have enough health to. It is something that I could and probably should pick up, though. Zos did grab some drops here. Jack879 pointed out to me that you really don't need Kraid drops in Hundo, so I skipped those.
Being behind here feels bad.
It's called the Kraid Quick Kill. Basically, you just need to hit Kraid with a super missile when his mouth is in a certain position, and then hit him with enough damage to end him. So, yeah, spikes do 16 damage per hit. Those spikes do. I don't remember if I get this. I think I do. Yeah, so if you grab this E-Tank this way, it's actually on a collision oscillator, so it won't always work. So some people opt not to do it. But it is the optimal way to get through the room. So I saved a little bit of time on Zos there, if I remember correctly. Alright, coming down to Norfair. Collision oscillator, essentially, the game doesn't allow Samus to be touching more than one tile at once, so if she's standing on two separate tiles, every other frame it will switch which tile she's technically touching. So on frame 1, she's touching the left. On frame 2, she's touching the right. Left, right, yeah.
Hey, Giggles. Thank you.
Yep. Yep, that's why sometimes you try to go up an elevator or down an elevator and it won't let you. Alright, so still quite a bit behind Zoast. I honestly don't remember when I end up catching up. So it's going to be interesting to see. Thank you for the follow.
Hey, Tunneling Geek, thank you.
What else do we got here? Oh, Zoast. So Zoast goes bottom route here. He actually got the optimal Kago Mach Ball, which is dependent on RNG and really hard to do. I go top route, so I lose a little bit more time on him there. And then I almost missed that wall jump there. And this is one of my new favorite strats. This is called the uppercut. Of course, I messed up the top half of this room, but, you know, still pretty awesome.
That makes it a good strat.
Another thing is Zoast actually didn't go for pre-farm. It's optimal when you're farming the bugs next to Speed Booster to do one farm before and one farm after collecting speed instead of two farms before or two farms after. I think what Zoast does is two farms after. Again, his run is quite a bit older, and there were just some little optimizations like that weren't known. Oh, he does 3. Oh, that's right. He does 2. He lays a bomb for the 3rd, and then he decides to just go. And then I ended up doing 2 after. I didn't mean to, but
I forgot.
That's okay.
Hey, Fireball. She was actually, I think, raised on this planet by the Chozo, so that's why. Could be wrong about that.
There's a cool strat here that unfortunately I miss. You can frame perfectly morph on your way down there and lay some bombs, but wasn't in the PB. Got a PB again.
Genetics.
We both went for it, Owl.
There are some biological components to the suit.
I do remember watching him practice it though, back when he was doing this grind, and I didn't realize it was a frame perfect morph.
You mean Hundo map? Yeah, probably.
That speedball is such a pain.
Set it all yesterday, so that feels bad.
The mock ball out of the tunnel there.
I might have missed it on the last run.
Sometimes I can do it easy, and then there's other times where like I miss it on literally every run for like 10 runs. Yeah, it's it's ridiculous, cutie.
Regarding
Like-
the suit thing though, Fireball, it doesn't explain any of
Yeah,
it.
it looks like it should be easy, but it's really not.
Just gotta go with it. It's kind of low. Yeah.
I have noticed, at least for me, it's harder to do if I have like optimal run speed positioning, so I don't early turn to grab ice.
Dude. It feels so bad.
That seems to make it a little easier. I
No.
played around with arm pumping a little bit, but that didn't seem to help. Alright, I know I go for the morph weave here. I don't remember if I got it or not. Yeah, I bonked, unfortunately. Alright, so we're almost out of what I consider early game for 100%. When I'm heading direct ship, that's when I feel like the run is actually starting. So it's yo, Waldo, thank you for the 27 months, dude. It's a bit of a long early game, for sure. This is one strat that has been optimized a lot. Unfortunately, I didn't get the right hopper RNG because I messed it up, but you can manage those hoppers in a way that's quite a bit faster if you do that that morph blue suit. Zoe setting up for Ocean Fly here. Yeah, there's so many cool strats in Hundo. Yeah, and the way that Behemoth does it is ridiculous too, cutie. He does a tap in the room. Well, that's hard, so heck that. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, so my health is really low here. You want a bit more health going into Fantoon for two reasons. The main reason is that after the fight, you want a minimal amount, a certain minimum threshold of health in order to do all the fastest strats. But also, depending on the patterns you get, it can be nice to have a little bit more health for the Fantoon fight as well, since you'll end up taking damage from flames and from bonking Fantoon in certain situations. Alright, so Zos got a slow in his run. It's probably the first thing in his run where he loses like a lot of time compared to how it could have gone. I get a slow, and then I think I get a mid. Yeah. So that puts me just a few seconds behind Zoast.
Not bad. Not great. Good enough to continue. Probably would have continued.
Right? Except it does!
This is the worst pace we've had since yesterday, for sure. So naturally we have health this time.
Alright, so I've got enough health to go for the strats, which is nice. This is a strat that I came up with for RBO that's quite a bit faster. It's actually a variation of that strat. Behemoth, when he was running 100%, found that setup for it. Anyway, so I think we saved like a second on Zos there. Wrecked ship. It's getting a little bit better, but for the past month or so, it's definitely been the hardest segment in 100% for me. There's a lot that goes into this for sure. Like every room is hard, in my opinion, in some way. Especially this shaft room, doing the platforming, like the ledge grabs and everything optimally is so difficult. So I was going for a ball bounce strat there, but I screwed it up. So we lost a little time. And then Zos does a single bomb. I think I went for a single bomb. I sure did.
Here.
Jumping across to that E-tank is a lot harder than you would think it is, which is why sane people opt to do the bomb jump there. Yeah, the jump is free until it's not, and then you lose your run. And then it's impossible. Yep. Alright, Attic. This is one of the coolest and one of the hardest strats in all of 100%. I did a fairly good job of managing the room, but this particular part right here is where I screwed up. We do get the speed keep here. And then the robots decided to play nice, even though I screwed up, which I was not expecting.
To go, but good enough. Oh, dude.
And then Attic again, and just like the first time around, it's pretty difficult to do this correctly. I knew that I jumped too early, which is why I opted to do that morph strat there instead. Costs a little health and a little bit of time, but it's a lot better than bonking the Key Hunter. So.
Hey, Fluffy.
That super shot is a lot harder than it looks. Alright, Zos does a farming strat here. I think I do a farm. Yeah. So that farm, I think, is a little bit slower than what Zos does, but if you get the optimal setup for it, it's actually a little bit faster, if I remember correctly. And then you see us shooting into the floor here. That's to knock the robots that are down below into their holes before we get down there. You also notice that we both laid a power bomb there at the end, and that breaks the statue down there. Alright, so both robots are in their holes. The statue's broken. We can just run on through. Zoast does a little bit of a health conservation strat there, and I don't really understand why. He's got a ton of health. He does end up doing a bit more of an optimal pause here in a couple minutes, and I think that might be why, but... Alright, unfortunately in this run I also missed the ocean speedball, so, you know, it's another one of those situations where I guess I just got a PB again, right? Bonk. This jump is also a lot harder than it looks. It's one of my most hated strats. It feels really good when you get it, but when you miss it, it's awful. You lose so much time. Yeah, it's really bad. Alright, I got the optimal bounce through this room. I actually used Cutie's setup. Thanks, Cutie. Though I will say, I noticed that it's not as free as it seemed when you first showed it out, or showed it off. I haven't actually been able to find out a foolproof way to do it yet, but it's consistent enough that it's definitely what I go for. Alright. So, here is probably the highlight of the run, in my opinion. So Zos doesn't go for this strat. This strat is referred to as Sex Master. Don't ask me why. But basically you do a short charge so that you can break those blocks. You lay the power bomb. You grab the E-Tank. You morph. You roll under. And then you do a Shine Spark through the back half of Gauntlet. I also found an optimal setup to do these quick drops here. I kind of screwed up the tail end of it, but...
Yes, it's 100% item collection for Super Metroid.
My eyes. That's also a cool speedball there. Alright, so we're only a few seconds behind Zoast, which is nice. He does not have Moonfall. We do. So that saves a little time there. And a little bit more time here. And then I don't remember if I get this. Yeah, I didn't quite get the optimal setup here, but Zos did. If you jump through the door with enough speed, you can just do a downturn to collect these supers, which is really cool.
Yep, I have worked very hard on this game, so...
I don't remember Googles. And then the deboosts in this room are pretty specific, and if you mess them up, you can lose a lot of time, so... I almost got the optimal strat for that room, not quite. Also, I've been having trouble doing the quick morph into that tunnel lately. I replaced my D-pad like a week ago, and something about it, I just can't do the quick morph, so I've been going over the hole.
I don't know if I have one.
Also, today, it seemed like that power bomb was actually losing me time, so I'm going to have to look at that again. Alright, here is big time loss number 2 in Zost's run. So this next room has a strat called Mission Impossible. The reason is You drop down through this hole, you collect the power bombs, and then you want to jump back up through the hole. The way that Zos did it, I think he misses the wall jump. Yeah. So he missed that wall jump, which actually loses a lot more time than you would expect. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it seems, or it feels like about 10 seconds. So we're going to have some strat divergence here. Yeah, it's a lot, cutie.
No, not total play.
Yeah, it's enough that it hurts to miss it. Like I'm definitely gonna pass Zoast up here, if I remember correctly.
Nice super drop.
I'm gonna say it's between 5 and 10. Could be wrong. Enough times that it makes me nervous. Yeah, that could definitely be true. Alright, so I was 2.6 behind, and now I am about 7 ahead of Zoast. How many seconds did I beat Zoasty's PB by? My new PB is a 1:15:13, and his is a 1:15:20. All right, there's a little clip there coming out of charge, which is difficult, but it's not as bad as you might think once you figure out how to do it. Saves a little chunk of time there as well. Yeah, Behemoth told me the secret, cutie. Next time you're running Hundo, let me know and I'll teach you.
Nice. Sucks we missed that super, but we got a lot of other ones, so. The thing that sucks about it is that we waited more than that we missed the drop.
I hate these rooms. I hate these rooms in Hundo. Oh, man. I stole this strat from Cutie, I think. The turn on the tank.
Thank you. Die, fish!
Die, fish! It's one of my memes in this run. Oh, I did get the Moonfall here. That's nice. Hey, Sophie, I'm not actually running, but thanks for the luck anyway. I do a double or triple stutter 3-tap Gameaholic. You can do a 4-tap.
Sick glod, bro.
Like a no stutter 4-tap.
Alright.
But stuttering makes it a lot easier. Yeah, or if you're cutie, you can short charge well enough that you actually kill the crab with blue. That jump is deceptively hard.
It's kind of a slow room. Thank you for the follow.
Here's another thing that I do that's a little bit faster than Zoast. Zoast unmorphs and grabs the super missile pack. I unmorph after grabbing it, which eliminates the turnaround animation there. No, it's not a race. The run on the right side is Zoast's 100% PB from 2017, and the one on the left is a run that I did yesterday that beat his PB. It's a run comparison.
That RNG.
Kind of screwed that room up a little bit on my side. This room sucks in both directions.
Oh, that was a bad jump.
It's a preview on what the race will look like in the multi-category tournament. I would love to race Zoast 100% in that tournament. I think that would be super, super cool. With my luck, I'll get knocked out of the tournament before I get to face Zoast, though, by somebody like Sloters. Sloters or QD or someone. Zoast loses some time here.
Okay.
Yo-ho. I missed the moonfall here, so I actually lost a little bit of time there.
Lost a little time there. Hey, Razio.
Heading to Batoon here.
Run didn't start.
Not really anything out of the ordinary. Same strat as any percent, or what most people do in any percent. Zoast got a little bit better RNG than I did.
Batoon is dead. Long live Batoon.
Here comes the full halfie, which I do manage to get. And Zoast unfortunately does not. So Zoast just gets a halfie, so that's a time loss for him. I almost fell down there, so that was scary. That's one of my my heart rate there is kind of going up. Also, Dragon has been killing a ton of my runs lately, so I'm pretty nervous right here. That's what I've heard, cutie. Yeah, I was pretty dang nervous. Great Dragon fight. Do you get the spike suit? Kind of messed up the drop collection there. Zoast actually opts to skip the drops. But I actually found a strat to get the drops that is pretty dang fast. I just screwed it up there. Zoast also doesn't have a spike suit here, he just has blue, so he loses a little bit of time and movement coming back this way. I do my pause here, he does his a little bit later. It doesn't really matter when you do it. Yeah, the D-boost will get you more of the drops, cutie. The thing is, you don't need all of the drops in Hundo. So I found kind of a happy medium that's faster than the D-boost, doesn't get all the drops. No, Gameaholic. He pauses. I'm in the next room that I'm coming into. That's where he pauses. You have to turn ice on before you get to the Puyos to clip for spring ball, or else it would be better to probably just leave it off until an elevator. Alright, time for the spring ball ice clip. This is a trick that is very specific. There are consistent setups for it, but if you miss, you lose a lot of time. So, right here, I miss the entry, and then I get really scared, and then I still manage to pull it off.
So lucky that worked.
So, yay, the run is saved.
If by terrifying you mean, am I worried about soft locking? No.
Somebody asked me if I
But,
find Aqueduct terrifying, and I made that comment about
Something
how I'm not scared of soft locking, and then the next run I soft locked right there.
really hard time getting.
So that was that was really funny. You manipulate that snail to dig through the sand, which saves a little bit of time. I thought that was a newer strat, but Zos does it right here. So I'm not sure. I mean, I knew it wasn't like new, but I thought it was newer than Zos' run. And apparently it wasn't. So maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know.
Go Samus.
Well, what I know, Giggles, is that ED or Snick or somebody posted something about that strat in the Discord after I was in there and saying that it would save some time over not doing it. And I thought it was a new strat at that point, but I'm not sure. Alright, this is where my run starts to lose itself. We mess up a lot of strats, we lose a lot of time, and I was pretty sure that the run was dead. So this is also, even if I wasn't screwing up, this is the part of the run where I just have a huge disadvantage against Zoast because he's a lot better at all of these segments than I am. So between those two things, he's actually going to pull ahead quite a bit coming up here. This is the first room that I majorly screw up.
Thank you, Marcel.
And honestly, it was just, I just did things slightly wrong. So I KO'd through
Okay,
that beam,
come on.
and then the
Yep,
pirate
cool,
did not make it
cool.
over to this wall, so I
Get
have to
the
go over and get the
freak
pirate over to the wall. Yeah, that's bad. Bad room.
Damn it, dude. Why is that room impossible?
And Zoast is ahead now. Yay! And then I screw this up.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And then I screwed that up.
Oh, we're losing a ton of time.
Yeah, I need to get back into the habit of going for the deboost if I'm going to do the spring ball cutie. Because I've been getting the spring ball thing quite a bit, but... I know, right? Right, JRP? Easy. Alright, this is one of the coolest strats in 100%, and it's also something that I have been just screwing up all the freaking time. But I did manage to pull it off here.
It's really hard.
So, yay, hooray. Run is not dead. That wasn't the closest I've had, Owl. That's for sure.
Damn it.
So you can actually moonfall through these sand pits. I missed it both times, unfortunately, so I lost a little bit of time there. This room always makes me nervous now because I had a PB where I actually fell through that crumble block right there. And that loses a lot of time. So I'm always worried that I'm going to fall through it again.
Yeah, it's not terrifying, like, how do I explain it? I get nervous. If you miss it, you miss a lot of time. And it's hard. You piece of crap.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I screwed up that deboost, which also lost a lot of time.
Well, this segment's been really bad. Oh well.
Hey, Kano, thanks, man. That strat is really hard. It's easy until it's not, and then it's really hard. Zoast does a power bomb here, which causes lag and doesn't allow for the early door. So I saved a little bit of time on him there. He also goes back up, which is slower than doing the quick drops, if done optimally, I believe. We both missed this strat. Zoast bonked before the door, and I didn't. So, saved a little time there. Apparently I'm doing the backup exit there slowly, though. How was Fantoon on this run? On my run, it was a slow mid.
You can ask about anything. If I can't answer it, I just won't. Whether that's I can't answer it because I need to focus or whatever.
I screw up this room.
First time missing that since yesterday. Dang it. It's okay, Zeni. We're still in the game. Stay in the game.
We get the fast strat here. I'm surprised I was keeping up with those this well for this long, despite all the mistakes I was making. It's pretty cool. Get the D-boost, chronic boost. I didn't boost quite far enough, so that was suboptimal.
Didn't do that right.
And then down the elevator. This next strat is one that used to be totally fine for me, and then Canadian Owl made some comment about how the way that I did it was scary, and now I screw it up all the freaking time. Thanks, Owl. Thankfully, I didn't screw it up too bad here. It was suboptimal the way that I did it, but it was okay.
It loses minimal amounts of time compared to like bonking. Owl, ever since you brought this room up, I screwed up all the time, man.
Yeah, you jerk. You frickin' jerk, dude. Zoast kind of messed up that room, so I saved a little bit of time on him there. I had a run about a week ago, I think, where I fell through the crumble blocks here on pace, so that's why my heart rate is all like crazy, because I was really scared.
Rude, it's like, why do you hate me?
So this strat is actually, it is optimal for GT, but I kind of screwed it up just a little bit, unfortunately. So we'd probably be synced with Zoast right here if I hadn't screwed it up. Yeah, I mean we got the run yesterday.
It's pretty dang awful. It's too bad. It could be hella far ahead right now.
Hey, dude. Thanks for all the bits, man. Yeah, I'm working on the 114 now. That's the next goal. Thank you for the sub, Emmett.
Right?
Thanks for the
Hate
support,
Canada
guys.
without hating Canadian Owl.
Behemoth Bob. Yeah, we're still like a minute and a half off of that. No thanks.
Besides, maybe the other part of Canada is awesome.
Alright, I screwed up this a little bit. Not too bad, I just missed the mock.
Nice emote.
Behemoth is certainly another level in Hundo. I think he's same tier as Zoast in any percent. I fell down here, which sucks. It's just optimal movement. Crazy Cat. He uses this exact same route.
Tried really hard to make sure that wouldn't happen. Oh, Samus. I tell you to morph. Those Tuskigas are not doing the same thing that they used to do. I don't think I changed my strat. That's weird.
Yeah, Behemoth's consistency is crazy. This room has been screwing me up lately. I got the pirate strat, but then I bonked here. So
That's okay.
we lose a little time there. And then I bonk here again, so we lose more time here. And then Ridley's been hecking me up lately. You don't want him to go straight into the pogo phase like this, but he's been doing that, so I need to figure out what I'm doing that's making him do that. Also, he grabbed me and took me for a ride there.
Dickwad.
I use a much more aggressive Ridley strat than anybody else that I've seen play Hundo. I do 10 charge shots and 15 supers, assuming that I have enough super missiles to warrant doing that.
Go in the freaking room,
The main reason that I do that actually is related to Ridley's behavior cycles. I've found that I'm much more likely to avoid an extra swoop cycle if I do the extra supers. So that's why I handle that way. Yeah, Zos makes some mistakes here. I make more mistakes than Zos here. Alright, this part sucks. Lately I've been struggling with the speedball strat. It's okay to fail the speedball strat, it's slow. What's not okay is to do this. That's really painful.
Just kill me. I did not freaking do that, dude.
Oh yeah, you can laugh. That's fine. Totally fine. The lower Norfair escape is very hard to optimize in 100%. In any percent, you're afraid of dying. In 100%, you're afraid of losing a ton of time because you mess up all the strats. Like that right there, I messed up that D-boost.
I'll need to work on my lower Norfair segment.
Also, this next room has the worst slope in the game, as I like to call it, because Samus likes to fall off of it and lose a ton of time. I do get the Hodorubi special here.
Why can't I get this and the worst slope in the game? It's always one or the other.
Zo's doing some work. Yeah, oh yeah, he gets stuck here though. I always forget about that. Yeah, cutie.
I either get the slopes or I get those two things.
Pretty much, yeah. Alright, now for the Bubble Mountain strats. These are actually really cool strats with a lot of opportunity to lose time. But if you do them correctly, they're really fast and they're really cool looking. When was the last time I got 99%? I did it intentionally a few months ago. Before that, I don't remember. It was before this grind, so years ago. I would love it if Zos came back to 100%. 100% or RBO. I would love to have Zos run either of those.
Hey, Leo.
What changed your life, cutie? Yeah. Yep, you sure can. That's something that I just noticed Behemoth doing a couple days ago. So I'm working on integrating that in a better way. This strat is so cool.
I had a lot of trouble with that last night, so.
I didn't get that a single time in my runs today. It felt bad. And then you boost off this guy.
What the?
Alright, so this Croc strat, basically I found the optimal way to get behind Croc and almost guarantee that you'll have enough time to get this energy tank, which is something that Owl first pointed out that you could do a few months ago. Getting the energy tank this way doesn't save any time, but it gives you more attempts to get the spike suit, so it's definitely worth. And then I think I get a first try, yeah. Yeah, when you hit Croc with Plasma Beam, it hits him every frame, so he just dies. He just walks all the way back into the acid.
Hey, guys.
The movement here is part of it, but also I think there's some other stuff about it. Spike suit is part of it, yeah.
No.
Screwed up that room. Alright, so this is where I've kind of resigned myself to the run pretty much being dead. Because we are officially behind. And the rest of the game is very hard to do optimally.
Late game in my PB is so good.
You lose all hope in PB, yep. Pretty much.
So good. Like, it's not perfect, but it's damn good.
Yeah, like missling the firebugs and stuff, cutie. So Zoast misses the spike suit. He got the spike suit, but then he blew it early. So that just happened. That's a little bit of a time save for me.
Strats, Zeni. Just do what you know. Okay.
Thank you for the follow. I collect both of those supers there. It's not required necessarily, but I like to have more supers going into Turian.
Okay.
I screw up this strat. I had also screwed it up in my PB, so I didn't tilt too hard about that.
We're not saving time, but I don't think we got that strat in our PB, so hopefully we don't lose time either. Yeah, it's a good
Right,
run.
cutie. Yeah, I remember Behemoth showing me that.
Have to
Before you ran Hundo, gosh. Man, you just think you know everything, huh, cutie?
It's hard. It's hard not to be nervous, and it's hard not to be disappointed.
Alright, so movement here is not scary, but if you mess it up, it's really easy to lose your spike suit. So...
Too high there. It's okay.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, we gained a little time on Zoast here. About 4 seconds. I saved a little bit of time on my own PB. And then I opt not to go for the speed keep here because it's pretty inconsistent, and I'm like, okay, well, I just want to try and save this run if possible. And then right up here, I also do not go for reverse slinky. However, I probably should have, because I think I bonked the door. Yeah. So that loses a little time. This is a strat that's really freaking cool that I had missed like 4 runs in a row before this. But I managed to pull it off, so that was nice.
Guess we got that. Heckin' heck, dude. Go.
And then I forget if I get this or not. Yeah, I did. So that's helpful. Sorry, Waldo.
The consistency isn't very good.
Yeah, I was getting really, really nervous here. Emmett. Yeah, people have actually messaged me privately about it.
I'm not worried about getting it eventually.
It seems like people like it enough that it's worth keeping, but it has been a little bit annoying, because people think that like they know me and my health and stuff, and like during this run, I think, yeah, I had taken Adderall because I needed to focus on studying and cleaning before I started runs. And Adderall it makes my heart rate go up, you know. So that was one of the things. I was on some caffeine, so that was another thing. So normally I don't go for a Shine Spark here, but I decided to do it just because I was like, you know what? Freaking heck losing a potential run to bonking the space jump. So yeah, I chickened out on this run. I'm not really disappointed in that because it means free time save going forward, so. No, Zeni is not doping. Zeni has a prescription because Zeni has ADHD. Yeah, let me know about that stuff, cutie. Thanks. I gotta start taking beta blockers so everyone's like, damn, Zeni's so chill. So as you can see, we're still quite a bit behind Zoast. I get the setup 4, but I don't get the mock, which is disappointing. It's been happening to me a lot lately. Oh my gosh. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right. So we get the setup, but we don't get the mock, which has been happening to me a lot lately. Thank you for the sub, Giggles. The tier 1 sub. I almost did not go for the optimal strat here, but then I was like, you know what? YOLO. And I got it. So, yay. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to missile these pirates because I need as many frames as I can get here. Yeah, I can edit and re-upload. Asder.
Okay. We need a really good Turian for this to work. And
I am local recording, so.
Not been very good. So.
So at this point, if you look at my splits right here, we are 0.3 behind. And I knew that I had lost 6 seconds after Mother Brain in my PB. But I also knew that the Turian in my PB was pretty freaking good. The best possible time here is 1:15:13. So. If you look at my heart rate, you can note that I am feeling calm. Also, I had been screwing up all of these Metroid rooms lately, so I was like really afraid. But we get strat for room 1, and then we get the strat for room 2. And then for room 3, we don't completely F it up, and we get a pretty good strat. And then we get the strat for room 4. So, as you can see, my heart rate is very low right now, and I'm, you know, totally not nervous at all. I'm not thinking about the baby skip and how I refuse to do anything except for the spring ball skip. 100% has spring ball, which coincidentally is the fastest way to do baby skip, but it's also a lot harder than traditional. So here we go. And we almost got grabbed. but we didn't. So heart rate is the highest it's ever been since I got the monitor now. And then I'm like, oh crap, Zeb skip. Please, Zeb skip. Please, please, please. And we're through. Okay. And then you will see my heart rate go back down. I made a decision in this moment, precisely right here, not to look at my splits or chat until the run was over. So I laser focused in on the TV. It's a good thing I didn't look because we golded, and that would have thrown me off. For sure. So in my previous PB, Mother Brain gave us bad RNG with the ketchup, which lost a couple seconds. In this one, she gave us good RNG with the ketchup. I very carefully damage down. Take the rainbow. Uh, 3 years ago, people were not aware of Mother Brain cutscene manipulation here. So I do the optimal cutscene manipulation, which is where you need to be in the air around the time that Mother Brain turns blue and then drop down. And then we start the stand-up glitch where we're damaging her down. Zoast also missed the baby grab there a little bit, so his health doesn't finish refilling optimally, if I remember correctly. Also, you can put the baby in a better position here for a faster Mother Brain grab. And now it's just time for the escape. So I'm a little bit behind Zoast. There are a few things that happen here, and we'll point them out. So, the first thing, there's a strat here called Blue Bomber. Zoast does not go for it, I do. The second thing, we have Moonfall. And then last, I do not Zeni Spark, and Zoast pretty much Zeni Sparks. Yeah, he missed his charge. And that's the run. Okay. And I was very, very relieved. That was the safest escape I think I have ever done. I was like, okay, slow, deliberate inputs. Be as safe as hecking
Hey, thanks, QZ.
possible. You hecking
dude, man.
So yeah, this like wave of relief like washes over me right here, and I like put my head down in my hands, and I almost started crying. And then I was like, wait,
Not over till we see the 100%, guys.
gotta wait for the credits. So, yep, that's the run. I did not include the credits in the video, so GG.